I totally get it. Buying cars can be extremely tricky. There's lots of underwater rocks and things to watch out for, but it doesn't have to be. It really can be a fun and rewarding process if you let it be that. All you need is some time and preparation, and more importantly, allowing yourself to have fun with it. Hi YouTube, I'm David Karzymensky, your professional car shopping friend. If you need some assistance, to reach out and I'll be more than happy to help you. First off, let us start with some myths that are out there. The first one is probably the most prevalent one. It's always better to buy at the end of the month, at the end of the year, at the very last day. While there is some truth to that dealers do have their targets to hit and they generally are incentivized for the volumes, consider these scenarios. What if the dealer already hit their target for the month a week ago? What if they're absolutely not hitting it and they're just rolling more sales into next month? Or what if they're just so busy closing the deals that they currently have that they really have no capacity to add more sales to the month? Consider this extremely funny case that happened at the end of last year. Kia Canada, the corporate side, was limiting sales in the dealerships by not delivering the vehicles to the dealerships and holding them, literally in port, in December because they didn't want to appear too successful in front of their global office in Korea. As you can see, while there is some truth in that, it is really just a myth. The second myth is all about who you know. While it is true that you might skip some markup if you personally know the salesperson, you don't know the whole dealership department. You don't know the sales manager, you don't know the finance manager, and you definitely don't know the GM of the dealership. Myth number 3 is my favorite and is very prevalent among the old school guys. Cash is king. I have $10,000 cash in my pocket. I'll give it to you right now. Let's make a deal. Dealers actually don't care where you get your money from. If it's a check, they would actually prefer that, and they would prefer it's coming from them because they do get paid on their finance. But if you show up with an envelope or a stack or a suitcase of cash, there's actually going to be more questions asked and they're not going to be as easy with a sale. Now, how about this one? New cars are just depreciation pits. As soon as you leave the parking lot, you get minus 15% off your value. Again, there might be some value in that, but it's not a cookie cutter statement. Consider a hard to get car like a Toyota RAV4 Prime. It actually appreciates once it comes off the lot because there's people waiting for it for 2 or 3 years. Or how about the car that's over 100,000? Once it rolls off the lot, it's not subject to 13% luxury tax here in Ontario. That car will generally be worth more as well. And finally, myth number 5, used cars are safer bets because depreciation is already taken care of. While that is true, and if it were the 100% case, people wouldn't buy new cars. But there is some value in them, so there is no real truth in that statement. Sure, the depreciation is taken care of, but what about the repair cost, the maintenance? The time wasted in the maintenance. There are just too many factors to consider to throw out a blank statement like that. And those were my favorite myths out there. If you like what you see so far, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment. I'd really appreciate both of those equally. Now let's talk about what you can actually do to get a better deal when buying a car, new or used. First of all, do as much research as humanly possible. If you're getting a used car, consider all the options and all the model years and why some year is worth higher than the other. For example, why is 2012 Audi A5 worth more than a 2013 Audi A5? Now, other options adding value to the vehicle and that's worth paying for, or those are just more sentimental things? What about the color? Is a rare color more important? Then all those questions will be answered in the research. If you are getting financing, get your own financing options first. Research couple quotes, get them in writing so you know they're for real, and then once the dealership presents the finance option they've got, compare the two and you don't have to take the dealer option. And most likely by asking for that option, dealer will give you a bit of a discount thinking that you'll go for it too. Number 3 is the most important. It's the physical actual process of buying a car. Unfortunately, we still have to go to dealerships for the most part and buy a car from them. That means dealing with a salesperson. And there's a lot of psychology involved in that. So when talking about the car, I would recommend not being too excited for it, but that also comes from your research before, if there are actually cars like this out there in the market. So commit as much as possible without actually committing to the car. Ask a bunch of questions, ask for financing options, do a test drive, really establish yourself as someone who is serious about purchasing this car, but only for the right price. So that's, again, when knowing what else is out there in the market is important, because you can say, here's this exact car in the next dealership and they're offering it for less. But actually, be ready to walk away from that car without buying it. Being in that mental state is truly important. So those are my best practices. I always keep collecting more and more, but these are my go-to and they apply mostly to all of the cars out there, new or used. Now, if you do feel like you're a little stuck in your buying process and you want either some fresh perspective or you actually need someone to get you a better deal, consider looking up my website and seeing my services there. And before you go, please share your best tip so we can get the conversation going and help the community out there. Thanks for watching.